A number of the updo styles have knots, and literally it is like tying a knot in your shoe. So I'm going to just finish off this teasing illustration poofy crown that we did before with a simple knot design back here, and it'll just be a half up, half down look. But this is what you need to do when you run across. You'll see it in the photos, but I like to just show a little bit of a live demonstration on what to do with the knots and the different things you could do with knots. I'm going to split the main ponytail in half, and I'm going to take a chunk. Let me see if I can move her head a little bit. Okay. Split the ponytail in half and take a chunk of the hair that's behind here. And now I'm going to split it equal parts. So right now there's not as much hair from the head as there is in the ponytail, and it's going to be one big knot anyway, so I'm just basically going to go right and split the hair in half. It doesn't really matter where it comes from. And come down here, I'm going to literally tie a knot. And your knots can be loose, they can be tight, they can be however you want them to be, or however the client wants them to be. And they can also work their way as far down the strand as you want, or you could have your ends here to curl. And you can leave them out. This is a great and easy look for like a flower girl. And to keep everything in there, I'm just gonna put a little elastic here. I love these little elastics. And so now I have things I could do with this knot. The design process I really like to leave to the end. So a lot of my updos are about construction that gets you to the place of having freedom for design. When I used to teach my courses, my live classes, if someone fell in love with something they made right here, oh my gosh, this is a perfect curl, this is a perfect whatever, and then they didn't want to mess it up, and then they tried to work around this perfect curl, and that could get you stuck. So if the process that I teach is to get the construction in, and the designing comes at the end, and then you work side to side so you maintain your balance. So I'm just going to look at what I took over there, took some hair here, and take the rest of my ponytail. I'm going to split it in half. And tie a knot. These knots could be lower for like a chignon kind of look, but this is, I'm going to stick with this right now so I don't get you or myself confused. And go in with my elastic. And like I said, I like to do the creating at the end. So if I find out at the end that I don't even really like these little curls, I'll just hide them. But for now, that's where I'm going. When I work with a client, we basically have an idea of the shape and the look of the updo. How it exactly ends up, that can shift a little. So I am going to play with my knots and see what kind of a look I want to do. And play around with the design and the colors and whatever else I kind of feel like doing. I like to do something really amazing and creative in the back. That was how I got so many referrals. The client is basically happy with placement. She doesn't want it too high. She doesn't want, you know, her front to be too tight. She doesn't want certain things that when she looks straight on in the mirror, she's basically happy. So if she's happy with the poof and what's going on in the sides and half down, then what I do in here is the magic. And this is what people will see at the prom or at the wedding, and then my name and my referrals will increase. Okay. So I am liking that there's this piece here that I left out behind the ear. And I'm going to use it in the design. Now it could just be another, let's stick with knots. I mean, you certainly could braid this. You certainly could do something else. I'm going to pull it down here and just add it into the design. All right, I'm gonna hide that tail. I don't really want to see it. And for purposes of teaching, I'm not getting into like perfection. This is more about construction and ideas, certainly with a real client. Perfection would be included in fine-tuning everything. I just want to give you some tips and ideas so that when you are in a course of mine that says knots, this is what I mean in the live version. And basically, a rule of thumb is wherever my thumb is, I want to feel, and I know I'm probably holding the pin differently and upside down, but this is how I learned and this is how I do it. I want to feel the ball of that hairpin hit underneath my thumb, catch a little of the hair, and go down. And if I'm worried about that piece, this is what a hairpin is for. You go in and you pull back and you tuck. And also, the way that I'm doing it for the video is lower here. Okay, so I'm going to take my ends and just kind of find a spot for them. I love these little short hairpins. They're the little short bobby pins. They're great for kids and small sections like this. So sometimes what just caught my eye now is this loop and this thing here. I thought, oh, that'd be fun to feed that little end through and that leaves this little curl there. And so now when your client is happy with the front, and they're happy with the height, and they're happy with everything, they're reading a magazine, and you are getting to be super creative. So here's a simple knotted, half up, half down, and that is what I mean by knots.